More than 700 years ago, a warship commander of Venice, Marco, was captured by the rival city. He was put in a prison where he met a fellow prisoner and writer named Rustichello. As the two men became friends, Marco told him about his time in Asia, what he had seen, where he had traveled, and what he had accomplished. Rustichello found the stories so interesting that he wrote them down. They were eventually published as a book called The Description of the World, later known as The Travels of Marco Polo. Marco Polo was born in the year 1254 to a wealthy Venetian merchant family. Polo's mother died when he was young. His father, Niccolo, and his uncle Maffeo were successful jewel merchants. They were in China for much of Polo's youth. In 1269, Niccolo and Maffeo returned to Venice and met Marco for the first time. In 1271, the Polos decided to travel to China again. This time, 17-year-old Marco accompanied them. During those times, a journey from Europe to China took a very long time. First, the Polos took a ship across the Mediterranean Sea to Palestine, now known as Israel, in the Middle East. Going any further by ship was not safe, and so they decided to go further by land. They traveled in a caravan across the desert in Persia, then traveled through parts of Central Asia and soon reached the Silk Road, a famous travel route. Marco was very observant, and thus he paid keen attention to everything. He met people of many different religions and learned new things throughout his journey. He learned Mongolian, Persian, and Turkish. He was the first European to come across petroleum, the oil from which petrol is made. The people of Georgia used it to soothe their skin. The Polos' journey to China brought them face to face with many challenges. Perhaps the biggest of them was going through one of the largest deserts of the world, the Gobi Desert in Asia. Marco later described it as,
"This desert is reported to be so long that would take a year to go from end to end. It consists entirely of mountains and sands and valleys. There is nothing at all to eat."
Finally, after 4 years of travel, the Polos reached China and met the Emperor Kublai Khan, who was staying at his summer palace, known as Shangdu. The Polos lived in China for the next 16 years. Niccolo and Maffeo Polo were granted important positions in Kublai's court. Marco impressed Khan with his tales, and soon he was employed as his special envoy. As a result, Marco was sent to far-flung areas of Asia never before explored by Europeans. His book, The Description of the World, makes special mention of his time in China, Mongol Empire, and the bizarre inventions he saw there. It told Europeans how paper money was used in China, while the rest of the world used heavy metal coins. The same paper was used to make kites that were used to measure distances and send signals. The book also tells how black stones, now known as coal, were mined from the mountains and used as fuel. And among the most revolutionary thing was the description of gunpowder. The Chinese used it to make firecrackers and weapons. Finally, after 17 years in Khan's court, the Polos decided it was time to return to Venice. Their decision did not please Khan, who had grown to depend on them, though in the end he agreed to their request. On the way back, they took a sea route known as the Spice Route. The route took them along the coast of Malaysia, Sumatra, Sri Lanka, and India. After traveling for 2 years, they reached Venice in 1295. The Polos had been away from home for 24 years, and their return to their native land undoubtedly had its difficulties. They struggled to speak their mother tongue, and even their relatives could not recognize them. 3 years after his return, Marco commanded a warship in a battle and was captured. The book, written when he was released, made Marco a celebrity. After his release from the prison, Marco became very wealthy and famous for the tales of his travels. He soon married a woman named Donato Badoer and had 3 daughters. Marco's stories were so unfamiliar and strange for the people of Europe that many did not believe them to be true. The book eventually earned another title, The Million Lies. Marco, however, stood by his book. Centuries later, historians have proved that most of the things written in Marco's book were true. Marco lived till the age of 70. As he lay dying in his home in Venice on January 8, 1324, friends and family paid him visits, urging him to admit that his book was fiction. Marco simply said,
I have not told half of what I saw.